Hello and welcome to another Crimson Artist audio review. My name is Raj Chetta, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2016 remake of the 1960 Western film of the same name, which in turn was a remake of the 1954 Japanese film Seven Samurai.
By Akira Kurosawa. Sorry, blanked out for a second.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, and Steve Murdoch. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I was about to get to him. In front of me is Steve Murdoch. We'll be taking a look at Magnificent Seven and the 1997 Paul Verhoeven classic Starship Troopers.
Which I suggested.
Yeah, for whatever reason, even though these movies have nothing in common with each other whatsoever,
We're going to do them anyway because it's 2016.
Yeah, because 2016 has been nothing but random shit, so
Both good and bad.
Mostly bad. But these are good movies. Very good movies, actually. I know I kind of... you kind of spoiled our thoughts on these movies anyway, but let's see what we liked, what we didn't like. Basically, everything that goes into an actual movie review. So let's start off with the most recent Magnificent Seven. It is directed by Antoine Fuqua, who is better known for other films with Denzel Washington, such as The Equalizer,
and Training Day, which another actor, Ethan Hawke, who was in this movie, was also in that movie.
And the film stars Denzel Washington, as you just mentioned, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, Vincent D'Onofrio, Bai-Hun Lee, thank you, Manuel Garcia Ruffalo, Martin I apologize. Feel free to correct me if I sound like an ass. Haley Bennett and Peter Sarsgaard. If you haven't seen the original film or Seven Samurai, what the fuck are you doing? Go see them. They're magnificent films. No pun intended, but they're really magnificent, as well as especially this one. I'm not going to go into full detail on the movie in case like I said, if you haven't seen the movie, the original films or the trailers, then you would know that basically this small town village is being overrun by this corrupt businessman that wants to take over, basically rip the lives of these innocent farmers, and they request the aid of 7 individual cowboys to basically save them from this asshole, pretty much. It's very self-explanatory once you get down to it. And I was really intrigued to see how this version is going to hold up compared to the other versions, and I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I myself did not see the original films or Seven Samurai, which, yeah, I probably should have done that.
I might check out Seven Samurai next time.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do that as well. But this is our first impressions, our first take on the movie. And for the most part, I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was a very entertaining, well-shot, well-made movie filled with fantastic performances, especially with Denzel Washington, of course, Chris Pratt. Everyone sold their roles very, very well. The writing is the
interactions between the characters?
Yeah, the characters are really well defined. The way they interact with one another, their camaraderie is very strong. Those were high points of the movie. The cinematography
some of the shots in it are very well done.
Yeah, it's by far one of the more beautiful looking films by Antoine Fuqua. Truly amazing stuff to be shown here. Lots of classy Western gunfights, something you rarely see these days. That's the best. Those are the high points of the movie. But there's always going to be some downfalls, and unfortunately, what I find lacking is a little bit of something different, something new. Because like, if you're a Western fan and you saw the original film, you will definitely say that okay, there's nothing else to give me, which is fine for the most part because like what they delivered is something that it's a very self-explanatory story they're trying to tell. But there's some things that you can like touch up on here and there, like
yeah, like in terms of the plot and story, it's good, but the problem is we've kind of already seen stuff like this.
yeah.
Before.
I mean,
Like,
it is a remake to be fair, but sometimes remakes they don't necessarily always have to follow the original storyline. You can like change it
yeah,
up a
from
little
what I
bit.
heard, the original one had something different. Like spoilers to anyone who hasn't seen it.
It's fine. Go ahead.
From what I heard, the town actually kind of turns on them and kind of drives them out a little bit.
Yeah.
But then they eventually come back. The villagers actually see them, and they do come back to help them out. And from what I heard, the town was actually in more, I think somewhere like Mexico or somewhere. But again, I might be wrong. I haven't seen the original.
We will do like hopefully whenever we get the chance, we will take a look at the original film as well as Seventh Samurai, and then make like a nostalgia critic esque old versus new ish. Okay.
Well, so, like basically, if we did Cecil B. DeMille's Ten Commandments from the 1920s and then the 50s and then Prince of Egypt,
or the thing with the thing from Another World,
the John Carpenter one,
and
or that dumb prequel.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Where the alien always gave away its position.
God, I don't want to talk about that. Why are we talking? Why are we going to? We're going to get to science fiction in a bit. Just hold on.
Yeah, we kind of derailed there for a second.
Yeah, apologies on our behalf.
But yeah, while I definitely thought the story was decent and at least still fun, there were many things that we've seen in a lot of films. We've seen the guy, and like we said, there will be spoilers. There's a scene where one of the characters thinks like, I can't do it because of a bad experience, so then he comes off, only to have him come back and
yeah,
and
like
help him
it's
out
very,
anyway.
like we've seen those kind of tropes before. So technically, if you are still eager to see the movie, by all means go ahead. But it's little moments like that like you're sitting there, okay, he's gonna come back. I know he's gonna come back, and he
Yeah,
came
that's
back.
what I was thinking.
But despite all that, despite the predictability and all that, it is still very much worth it. Like you're still satisfied when you walk out of the theater. I know I was satisfied.
Yeah.
I was definitely like pleased by the time I walked out of the theater. I was like, holy shit, this is actually this is a good movie. It's really well. It's like I said, it's well shot. It's well performed. The cinematography is off the charts. The music, oh my god, the music. James Horner, we miss you. We absolutely freaking miss you.
Didn't they actually do maybe a little bit of the rendition of the original theme during the credits?
They did. They did a little rendition of it.
Yeah, and I remember hearing that before, but I wasn't sure where it was before, but now I know where it was.
Yeah, and oh my god. So my final verdict for the Magnificent Seven 2016 version, we got good performances. You got great cinematography, great action, classy Western style shootouts, an amazing score. The only thing that completely not destroy but takes away the full experience of making it a fully good remake is that there's nothing new to offer. It
doesn't really have a lot of originality, and that's actually what a lot of mainstream critics said. Like, it's got a great cast, great action, all that stuff, but there was many moments where it did make it feel rather predictable.
It kind of reminded me of Stranger Things, which is on Netflix right now.
A Stephen King show?
No, well, it's inspired by Stephen King.
All right.
But the thing is, Stranger Things it's better than Magnificent Seven. Just letting you know on that, and you can't really compare the two, because one, it's a Netflix series and this is a live action feature film.
Right.
The thing about Stranger Things is what it does really well is not only gives off great performances, great intense moments, but it also brings off the nostalgic factor. It's set in the 80s. It brings that 80s feel, 80s vibe, but it doesn't necessarily do anything else. It's basically paying homage and kind of ripping off 80s like monster movies like Aliens or whatever. It doesn't do anything else. Hopefully in season 2 they'll try to do something a little bit more original, but that's the advantage Starship
Magnificent Seven has.
Magnificent Seven no. Stranger Things has an advantage over Magnificent Seven because it actually it's going to have another season.
Right.
Magnificent Seven is obviously not going to have a sequel because, well, unless you've seen the movie, you should know what happens at the very end. I won't say anything else. else. But I suggest.
Sorry for that little orb of confusion moment we had right there.
Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, I am definitely going to give this film a solid B. It's definitely It's definitely worth the price of admission. I highly suggest you check it out. Now, I know I stated science fiction a few moments ago, so let's go on to Paul Verhoeven's classic 1997 film, Starship Troopers, starring Casper Van Dien, Dina Meyer, Denise Richards, Jake Busey, Neil Patrick Harris, Clancy Brown, of all people, and Michael Ironside, Sam Fisher!
And Darkseid if you're a fan of Superman the Animated Series, or anything from the DC animated universe.
Right.
This is actually a bit of an interesting one for me. I mean, when I was a kid, it was during a time when my folks didn't want me to watch anything like hard art or whatever. So then again, I saw cities getting destroyed in Independence Day, or they showed me Terminator 2 at one point. But I would always go onto some of my DVDs I would watch, and I would always watch a trailer for it, and I would be like, hey, I want to see this movie or whatever, but they still wouldn't let me. And after seeing this a couple years ago, I could probably see why. I mean, when it comes to Paul Verhoeven's movies, a lot of them can get pretty damn gruesome. I mean, especially goddamn RoboCop,
Total Recall. That's Paul Verhoeven. That's what we know him by. But the other thing that we know him by is his neat blend of satire and I don't know what should I say conventional storytelling or maybe. Should I not?
I mean, for anyone who remembers the funny little fake little commercials from the RoboCop movies, this one kind of does something like that too.
It brings more war propaganda. It's a satire on war propaganda, only set in the future. These guys
guarantees citizenship,
pretty much, and their main goal is to wipe out a insectoid species known as arachnids
on the planet of Klendathu.
Thank you. And it follows the story follows a young soldier named Johnny Rico as he slowly grows in the ranks as a futuristic mobile infantry unit. And basically, that's his main goal. Not really his main goal. He originally joined the army just to be with the love of his life, pretty much.
Yep.
And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Actually, it's just a really well done science fiction action war film
that, to any Halo fans out there, is actually one of the main inspirations for the game. There's certain bugs that are shooting these plasma blasts into space that's very similar to the race. A lot of the fighters are similar to some of the UNSC ships. Even the marine outfits you can say is similar to the marine outfits.
Even some of the concepts in the movie in general, and I said this during the viewing of Starship Troopers that what I really like, if you let's take the opening of the first two Alien movies, and you combine that with Starship Troopers, mixed with Captain America, if you will, you'll get a Halo movie technically.
I thought it was Full Metal Jacket you said earlier.
Well, both. Like, I mean, in terms of military style. No, I said that, like, the thing about this movie and Aliens and Full Metal Jacket, like, they have one thing in common, and it's to prove that pretty much humanity is just terrible for the most part in terms of learning from our past mistakes. And when Vietnam happened, we were expecting that we were going to be the victor. Look what happened. Look what happened.
And this film has a scene that is exactly that. Or at least in terms of a first attack.
Yeah, exactly. Even Aliens, one of the best science fiction action films made by one of the best science fiction directors of all time, did the same thing. It's proof that humanity as a whole doesn't learn its freaking history. Why is history important? Like, the teachers... Hold on. History teachers always ask, why is history important? We don't know the answer to that. Because we're just, like, we're dumb as hell. But now I know. I know why history is important. So we don't repeat it. Those who don't
learn from history are going to repeat it.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, over the years, there's always been those who've been trying to change it or try to erase those mistakes from general because either... Maybe because it was maybe like way too traumatizing, or they don't want to push their own stupid agenda. But by doing so, they're just gonna repeat those same mistakes in an endless cycle.
And that's what one of the many themes this movie addresses. But it still also manages to be fun, very humorous at many moments here and there. The characters, I really love the characters in this movie. They're some of them
just crazy. Fun, and when some of them actually did get axed out, I was like, no, please, no!
Out of all the characters, you had to kill this character off. Why? But then again, that's a movie. You're going to have stakes after all, and the stakes were really well handled. The music, the score, the cinematography.
If you like the theme from, say, RoboCop or even Total Recall, it's the same guy.
Pretty much.
And here's another thing I want to point out. The special effects in this movie are really good, even by today's standards. As for the CG for, say, the aliens, sorry, I think I got a little bit too early. For example, the ships and some of the other things, those are still really good.
They hold up really well, yeah. But in terms, and the creatures themselves, well, the designs, they look good. They sound good.
And they look freaking creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Especially since they could just, stab you or just rip you apart.
Yeah, but the overall CG animation revolving around them doesn't hold up too well.
Or it's kind of a mix. Some shots of them still look really good, even by today's standards, but then there's other ones that really do show its age. And one of the biggest offenders, I think, of the showing its age is when there's these giant bugs that shoot, flaming acid at people.
And it can all be very much it can all be well explained because of the cinematographer himself, Joss Vanko. He's worked with Paul Verhoeven on several of his films, including RoboCop and Total Recall. Back then, you can tell that this guy is on his A game, but guess what? Starship Troopers is the second to last film he's made. He's retired. You can tell that he's he's kind of done, you know? It sucks, but you got to move up. He has this film and another film titled Hollow Man.
Oh yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah.
Interesting concept, but from what I heard, it wasn't really handled so well.
Yeah, it was a shit movie. And that's a terrible way to go out, right? You make so many good movies and then you make this.
Hey, I've seen many directors and actors
and
a lot of worse ways.
And like I said, he has been making making moves with Paul Verhoeven for a long time, since basically RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
And RoboCop is personally, RoboCop is my favorite Paul Verhoeven film. Then comes Total Recall, and then Starship Troopers. Showgirls, you can just no, just fuck that movie.
Actually, for me, I definitely think I liked RoboCop. I kind of prefer Total Recall a little bit more, just for like maybe the ideas of like what is real and what's not and everything like that.
That's
even
fair.
if it does have some important lines like "You blew my cover," whatever. And I have to say, Starship Troopers is my third favorite film.
Yeah, but and in terms of Paul Verhoeven, and I know I took a stab at Showgirls for a little bit. It's a shit movie. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the worst movies ever made.
And
but
so much so that, from what I heard, it actually ended the career of the director or maybe the star of it or whatever.
I think it was just the star. Like, Paul Verhoeven still makes movies to an extent. Not in the U.S., I believe, but...
Alright, but for the actress, oh boy.
Yeah, well, then again, what are you going to expect when you were in Saved by the Freaking Bell? Exactly.
Wait, but she was on that show?
Yeah, she was the stuck-up bitch.
Wow.
She was Jessie. Hey,
sorry for any Saved by the Bell fans to hear that.
Yeah, but back to Paul Verhoeven himself, and it's something I truly admire and respect him gratefully. When Showgirls came out, it obviously didn't do so well in terms of box office and critical.
But when he accepted a Razzie for worst picture,
he's one of the many few to actually accept for worst picture and worst director for Showgirls. He's one of the few people to accept it.
That not all of his films are perfect, and once in a while he's always going to get a dud.
Exactly, and that it goes well to almost all filmmakers out there. Not every filmmaker is going to be the best film. There's no such thing as the best filmmaker out there.
Not even George Lucas.
Not exactly, or Christopher Nolan,
or Steven Spielberg,
yeah, exactly. There's no such thing as a great filmmaker, and that's what I respect. That's one of the reasons why I highly respect Paul Verhoeven.
All right, now back to the movie.
Sorry for that long-ass tangent. I truly apologize, but it was related to the movie either way.
Yeah, at least director-wise.
So, sorry to go off on another tangent, but this is actually related to the actor Casper Van Dien. If you...
To anyone who watches Screen Junkies, they did a recent short special called The Roast of Captain America, and the actor who was playing Captain America actually was Casper Van Dien. And then during some things that the guy who was playing as Bucky was talking about, he said, "Would you like to know more?" And you could actually see him cracking up a little bit.
And in terms of other related on media, digital media content, if you are a fan of Rooster Teeth, if you are, you would know that he appeared as himself on the brand new series Crunch Time, as well as a Rooster Teeth short as himself, titled, Casper Van Dien. Go on roosterteeth.com and check out those shorts. I'll put the links to the Crunch Time episode in the description below. Please check them out. Please also check out Crunch Time as well. It's incredible. I won't say anything else about it right now because, we're reviewing Starship, and I'll review Crunch Time when Crunch Time does meet its end. But back to Starship. Sorry once again about that. But and in terms of
let's try to stay on target.
Yeah, let's try to stay on target. In terms of what we thought about the movie is a lot of fun, filled with tremendous action. A lot of little cheesy moments here and there.
Yep.
But
also really good special effects, great action scenes.
And more, yeah. But it's definitely, in terms of its effects, it doesn't hold up as well as we thought. In terms of the monster effects, everything else still holds up. So if I were to I will definitely give this movie a solid B+. Or a solid B. Yeah, it's a solid B, definitely.
For me, I would give it an A.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's corny, but I still love it so much. Yeah, it always I never stop. I never get tired of watching it anytime I see it. It's always a blast for me.
Well, since this is Crimson Artist, I have to give it. I'm okay. It's fair. It's a B plus, plain and simple.
All right.
It was like, I mean, there are a lot of pretty stupid moments actually, if you really get down to it.
Yeah, I guess maybe one or two.
Yeah, and then it was like, why did that happen? Why, like, what are you doing? Why? That was me when those moments came up, basically. So yeah, Magnificent Seven gets a B. Starship Troopers gets a B plus. That's pretty random. This whole review is pretty much random anyway, as well as this very year.
What is normal?
I don't know.
I thought normal was just a myth. Random is this normal. It's weird. Weird is normal.
Are we in a movie?
I don't know.
Maybe we are, because nothing normal ever happens in a fucking movie. I don't know what just happened right now. Anyway, thanks for listening. My name is Rochetta.
Steve Murdoch.
We hope you have a nice day, afternoon, and good night. Hit like. Please subscribe for more, and
If you would like to know more.
if you'd like to know more, yeah. Well, bye-bye.
See ya.